Hello, it's Fight Season MMA here, and this is a channel that I want to use to break down some upcoming fights, MMA controversies, and different stuff happening in the MMA community. Today, I want to talk about the recent fight announcement of Leon Edwards versus Belal Muhammad and the rest of the UFC 304 card. Okay, first off, I want to start with the recent fight announcement of Leon Edwards versus Belal Muhammad. Truly, this fight needed to happen. This fight has been needing to happen for the past year almost in this standpoint once Belal was granted a title shot. Going back to the Colby Covington fight in December, I truly don't think that he deserved that fight, but it happened. That held up the division. Now we can further move on with Belal Muhammad, which he, in his way of deserving to get a title fight. Belal, in this instance, definitely deserves a title fight. He's gone, 10 wins straight, 11 wins straight. He's beat some of the cream of the crop of the division. Beat Gilbert Burns last time, even though I'm a massive Gilbert Burns fan. I truly think that he did beat Gilbert Burns, even though Gilbert Burns was injured in that fight. Belal was on an insane win streak, and especially Leon Edwards beating Colby Covington very emphatically last time, even though he did lose a round. It was either 50-45 or 49-46. And obviously his title win over Kamaru Usman and his first title defense over Kamaru Usman. This is a very close fight, very hard fight to predict. A lot of people are saying that this is going to be a fight that everyone's going to go to sleep, which I definitely could see depending on Leon and Belal's style. But this also has a fight chance to be fireworks going into it, which might sound crazy, but if a Leon comes out and attacks like their first fight between Leon and Belal comes out and does his stuff, I think that this fight can be massive. And ultimately, right now, I see Leon as the more polished fighter. I think Belal's not going to have anything for him in the stand-up department. Now, if Belal can get this to the ground, I truly think he can do something with there. But Leon's ability to isolate the single hand from further progressing into the takedowns, I truly think is something that Leon will be able to use in his defense to adequately defer Belal Muhammad within that specific situation. Now I have Leon Edwards winning this fight versus Belal Muhammad, even though I do think it's going to be a closer fight and maybe not the most exciting, even though it does have potential to be exciting, but I still have Leon Edwards beating Belal Muhammad within this fight. Next up, we have Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blade, which is probably the premier heavyweight fight within the division. Obviously, we all know that Cyril Gane was offered this fight versus Tom Aspinall, and Cyril Gane is filming a movie, and he did not take the fight, which is respectable in the standpoint that he has something to do, but is very ignorant considering that he has been calling for a title shot and been ducking the entire heavyweight division. Cyril Gane was gifted the title shot versus John Jones after he beat Tai Tuivasa, just coming off a loss to Francis Ngannou at UFC 270, then beating Tai Tuivasa at UFC Paris in 2022. Now, truly, it's a very interesting fight between Tom Aspinall and Curtis Blades. Even though Curtis Blades is probably one of the best grapplers within the heavyweight division, that is very lopsided and top-heavy. But Tom Aspinall can definitely hold his own on the ground if he's not a better wrestler than Curtis Blades. And Tom Aspinall striking is leagues above Curtis Blades striking, even though Curtis Blades has been improving rapidly over the years. Ultimately, I think Tom Aspinall can go into this fight. I think it's going to be a very interesting fight for Tom Aspinall, but ultimately, I have Tom Aspinall winning this fight pretty easily, and I truly do think that Tom Aspinall is going to make light work of Curtis Blades within this fight. Next up, we got Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimblett. I love this fight. You know, I'm a big Bobby Green fan. Who doesn't love Bobby Green? And Paddy Pimblett has been one of the most called out names recently. So I think putting him not only on UFC Manchester in his home country of England, but also fighting in a competitive opponent in Bobby Green, who just beat Jim Miller in emphatic fashion. And last December came off a very awful stoppage for Jalen Turner. I think this is a very good fight for Paddy Pimblett. In the simple fact that he is getting his ranked opponent, although I do not think he will win this fight. I think Bobby Green's striking is going to be too fast for Paddy. We look at the Tony Ferguson fight, and Paddy is a good grappler. We all know this. He's a good wrestler, good jiu-jitsu artist, but his striking was incredibly lacking, and he did gas out in that fight. I think Bobby Green's going to be too fast for him. I think his unorthodox ability is going to really hamper Paddy's ability to truly be able to comprehend the fight and be able to get it to the ground. Now, Bobby, we all know, is a little bit smaller in the lightweight division, so it's going to be a very interesting fight. Like I said before, my prediction is Bobby Green winning this fight. I would probably say by decision, but ultimately, I think Bobby Green wins the fight either way. Okay, next up we have Mohamed Mokayev versus Manel Kopp. I'm a very big fan of Manel Kopp if he can get himself into the octagon. We know that he has been calling out a lot of people. He was going to fight Israel Adesanya at UFC 293, where he ultimately went out there and beat Felipe dos Santos at UFC 293 very emphatically, in my opinion. I know some people had the fight going pretty close, but thought Manel Kopp did a very good job out on the feet, piecing up Felipe dos Santos very quickly. Now Manel Kopp was supposed to get the fight in January versus Matthias Nicolau, which he ended up not getting because he missed weight by 3 pounds. And ultimately, I'm hoping Manel Kopp can get into the octagon again. Mohamed Makhachev, prospect coming up, or I shouldn't say prospect, but newer fighter within the organization, very good. But I do have Manel Kopp beating him. I do think Manel's striking is going to be put on display within this fight. Now, Mohamed Makhachev can definitely get in and take him to the ground and submit him in some fashion, which I really do think can happen. But I think Kopp is too good for Mokayev on the feet. And lastly, for the main card, we have Arnold Allen versus Giga Chikadze. I think this is a good fight. I mean, I like both fighters, both exciting fighters, but I really do think Arnold Allen is the next generation of new fighters. With his last fight at UFC 297, Movsar Evloev that he fought, very close fight. I did have Movsar winning within that fight, even though I did pick Arnold Allen to beat Movsar in that fight. I truly think that Movsar is one of the hardest opponents within the 145 division. That Arnold really had a nice fight with. You look at UFC Kansas City, Missouri, back in 2022 or 23, my bad, where he fought Max Holloway, and Arnold, even though he did not win that fight either, still looked really good against one of the best 145ers in history. And look at what Max Holloway just did to Justin Gaethje. Ultimately, Arnold Allen, I do think, is going to get this win versus Giga Chikadze, and I think Arnold Allen has the potential to be the next long reigning champion at 140. Thank you guys for watching Fight Season MMA. I'm planning on breaking down a lot more fights, a lot more fight nights, different scenarios within the UFC organization. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you want me to do next. I'll probably do a video where I do respond to comments from viewers, and hopefully we can find a new niche within the MMA community. Thank you guys so much, and have a great day.